Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Senior and Living Today. It's the holiday season for some people, but we're going to talk about getting our Ebenezer Scrooge on and how to save some money today. So, I just have a couple quick ideas because I know everyone's busy, but pay attention. It may save you some money. And if you have any ideas that you can add to the list, comment down below, share them, save us all some money. Of course, the thing at the top of my list is always a money sucker, and it should not be. It's our banks. So, my reminder to you is to be very careful with the banks and the new disclosures that they send out because they have little things hidden in there that ultimately can cost you some money because they're trying to make money, not lose money. So, one of the things is some of the banks have changed. If you need to speak to a teller, that can cost you money. The fees to get a statement can be like $3, $5. If you want an actual paper statement to keep in your file, if you don't want to have a printer and print it out yourself, some banks are charging $5 for a statement to come to you. There are fees to have a certain minimum balance in your account. So if you aren't keeping a certain amount of money in your account, um, some of the banks will charge you a fee, or some of them might switch you and say, well, you have this kind of account. We need to move you over to this kind of account because you aren't keeping a high enough balance in your account. So you want to research and make sure that you're getting the best deal with your bank, or if you need to switch banks, what's going to save you the most money. Um, Banks are also charging for cashier's checks. They're charging for money orders. Just, you know, every penny counts. They are nickel and diming you literally to death. Also, in smaller towns, they're closing branches, but when they're closing branches, then that is forcing some people to use non-branch ATM machines. And so those ATM machines are costing you more money because you're using a branch that is not affiliated with your bank. So you want to make sure that there are ATMs um, that go with the card and the bank that you have. And if there isn't, there are some branches that are called, a place I lived before, they called them sister branches, and you could go to branch B and they had an affiliation with branch A, and so you would not get charged a fee. You could deposit there, you could cash checks there, you could make payments there. So call your bank if your bank closes and there's no ATM. Call your bank and see if there is a sister branch ATM that you can use to minimize your fees and your costs. Please be sure to read the disclosures because they slip lots of little things in there. And one of the things I heard about banks that they're doing away with is safe deposit boxes. So if you've had your stuff in a safe deposit box and it's been there a long time, call your bank, check with your bank, and make sure they're going to continue that. And if they're not going to continue it, find out when they're going to lock you out of your safe deposit box. That's a big deal. And they charge money for those, but they aren't making enough money on them, is the reason why they say that they're closing them. So check on that. You don't want to be wasting money for a safe deposit box that's no longer accessible. Another savings idea is to call your car insurance. As we get older, now at some point we get older, and they don't want to give us a reduced rate because they think we're a risk. But there does become a point where you are a senior and you get a better rate because you're driving less. But also, if you aren't a senior, you're a caregiver, or you know, have seniors in your life, so you have ended up on this channel, you are in the correct place. Lots of people that started working from home are driving a reduced amount of miles. And so with those reduced amount of miles, they consider you a leisure driver. And with a leisure driver, you get a better rate. I was working full time out of the home. And when I started working at home, it reduced my rate considerably for my monthly car insurance. So call and check on that. With my insurance, it's if you drive under 10,000 miles a year, you can get a reduced rate, and it's pretty significant. So it is worth the effort, 5 minutes to make the call and check and see. Definitely. The next thing I was thinking about was your waste disposal, your weekly or bi-weekly garbage or refuse company that comes by and removes your trash. Some of those you have a choice of which size can you want. And if you go to a smaller size can, if you don't need that big of a can anymore because you're recycling more or you're having less waste, you can get a reduction for the smaller size can. You can also check with your waste company and find out if you don't need weekly service, if you can get alternate week service. So there may be a cost savings there for you. So that would be worth checking into the alternate weeks to see if that would save you some money. A way I've saved a considerable amount of money is I installed sensor lights. Now, I say I did not. I had a handyman install sensor lights inside in the hallways so that 5 minutes after you leave the hallway and there's any motion sensed, the lights go out. And then when there's motion censored again, the lights will come back on. And I noticed that it cut my electric bill almost 50% for the areas where I was using that. I also was able to go and get those dusk to dawn lights. And the dusk to dawn lights look like regular light bulbs, but there's a sensor in them. And when you put them in, it will sense when it's starting to get dark outside and the light will come on. And when the sun comes up, the light will go out. I find it really useful because I had a tendency to forget in the morning to go turn that porch light out. And that light might be on until noon before I realize it's still on. So I have discovered that it is a real money saver to have that dusk to dawn light bulb. I think it was about $8, but it certainly saved me more than that on my electric bill. Also, if you aren't home, you don't have to worry that your front porch is dark because you're out of town, you stayed out late. No one will know. The light will come on as usual and your porch will be lit up. And which is really great. If you have cameras, then you don't have to worry, is the light out so the camera can't see who's on your porch, etc. So I really like the dusk to dawn lights and recommend looking into those if you're trying to save a few bucks. It's definitely worth it. One thing a lot of us overlook is asking. We need to ask, do you have a senior discount? What is your age for a senior discount? Some it's 50, some it's 55, some it's 62, some it's 65, but whatever, ask. You don't want to miss out on a discount that was there for the taking for you. So definitely ask. People who have been in the service, they don't have any problem saying, do you have a military discount? Ask if there is a senior discount. And if there is, use it. I have a girlfriend of mine that called a plumber out, and the plumber's bills, those are astronomical. And he gave her the bill, and she said, oh, do you have a senior discount? And he goes, well, I'll give you 10% off. They didn't have a senior discount standard, but because she asked, she got one. And 10% is 10%. ask. Ask for your discount. So, last but not least on my list is bartering. Bartering to me is the same as a discount because there's no exchange of money. If you make bread, you garden, you have flowers, you sew, you have something that you can barter with your neighbors and your friends to save money and the exchange of money, then by all means do it. Um, we all know that money is time, and use it wisely. So cut corners wherever you can because that money is hard to come by. If you have other ideas where we can save some of our hard earned money, please put it down below. Thanks for spending some time with me, and I look forward to seeing you again on Senior and Living Today. Bye.